Good evening, everyone. We've reached the hour of 6 o'clock. This is Tuesday, November 16, 2021, and this is the City Council for the City of Woodland, now in session. We are meeting again pursuant to the Governor's executive order as placed into statute by the California Legislature, allowing us to meet electronically, meaning we're in multiple places without our specific addresses being furnished. Despite the fact that we are meeting virtually, we welcome input from the public, and there's a number of ways you can do it. First of all, take a look at our agenda, which you'll find at the City of Woodland website, cityofwoodland.org, and you can call in, you can email us, or you can talk to us, or you can write to us and have your written communication read. Again, that can come by email or letter. So with that, we'll proceed to the commencement of the meeting. First of all, I would mention that the council has been in closed session. We have no reportable action at this time. All right, we now will go to roll call, and Clerk Ana Gonzalez, please call the roll.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Vega?
Present.
Councilmember Fernandez?
Present.
Councilmember Garcia Cadena?
Present.
Councilmember Landsberg?
Present.
Mayor Stallard?
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So that shows that all members of the council are present, along with key city staff and some members of the public. So we will now go to the Pledge of Allegiance. And let me see, Kim Johnson, or Lynn Johnson, excuse me. I know you're on the telephone. Are you able to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay, we are now at the point of public comment, and this is the time for comments from the members of the public. There are on items not otherwise on our agenda tonight. We can't discuss them because they're not agendized, but we'll definitely take note of any comments shared. Madam Clerk, do we have any comments at this time?
We have the usual speed limit removal.
Okay, well, that's been read and presented to the council previously, so we will not listen to it again. All right, we will now move on to
Mr. Mayor, we do have one hand raised.
Oh, all right. Set your clock and let's hear from that person, please.
Hi, yes, this is Ron Ortel. I'm just calling again. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine.
So yeah, I'm just calling again regarding the proposed takeover of the park by the school district. And I've submitted quite a few signatures and addresses to you now. So you know that there's significant opposition to this plan in the neighborhood without you even putting forth a plan, actually. So I'm really hoping that you guys choose, and the school district choose, to not tear apart the neighborhood like what occurred last time when we went through this with the park preservation, where you claimed that you couldn't landscape any of the park until, if you were going to save the whole 10 acres as required in the Spring Lake specific plan at that time. So I see you going down the same path again at the moment, hoping we don't reach that point. I think you have it. The other thing is too, I've put forth some requests through Ken Hyatt quite a while ago now, and a request to agendize. Haven't heard anything back. I believe these are governed by Freedom of Information Act requirements, and I believe you guys are just outright ignoring them. The school district does as well, but at least they make some attempt to answer some questions, whereas you guys do nothing. I think you have a number of legal vulnerabilities if you pursue this this plan or whatever it is. As you know, with the sports park allocation over there, that's pretty questionable. I also question all the negotiations that are occurring that aren't well known by the public, such as with the fire station. As you know, some people don't like that plan. It was supposed to be on Spring Lake. not a school district site. Also, this city pool, I understand you're pursuing over there at a middle school site adjacent to Pioneer High. And I'm wondering, does that compromise that site, like for a K through 8? Somebody should be looking at all these interactions here. But anyway, yeah, if this plan moves forward, you can be sure I'm going to be on top of it. But right now it's just the plan seems to be a land grab. That's about it. And I'm hoping it just dies. And that let's have a peaceful holiday here, but why you know you're going to face opposition. Why do this? You got another site. You guys are in charge of the negotiations with the technology park too. And that's what parents have been pushing for, school over there. So let's drop this, plan or whatever you want to call it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ortel. Madam Clerk, are there any other comments at this time? Okay, you're on mute, Anna, but I presume that's a no.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. So we'll go to my colleagues, and tonight, why don't we start with Tanya Garcia Cadena, Council Member Tanya. You're muted, Tanya.
Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to start by congratulating our Teen Advisory Board with the Woodland Public Library. They held a very successful Halloween party for youngsters and then for teens in the evening. And then they also had their Adulting 101 this past weekend, and they returned to in person. So congratulations on that. I had the pleasure of attending one of the grand opening events at the Hive this weekend. And if you haven't had a chance to go over there and check it out, they've got a wonderful outdoor facility along with their beautiful warehouse. So please look into that. And then today, I was able to join all of my council member colleagues at the North Valley Indian Health grand opening. That was very interesting. This past Sunday, I was able to join Seroptimus International of Woodland as we celebrated 75 years of serving Woodland, and we'll have a proclamation a little bit later. But 75 years is a long time to be serving our community, and I think the ladies of Seroptimus have just done a really excellent job of finding needs in our community and meeting those needs. And that'll be it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Council Member Garcia Cadena. Council Member Vicky Fernandez.
Thank you, Mayor Stallard. Good evening. I just want to also thank Sarah Day, our new teen services librarian with the Adulting 101. I had the pleasure of having lunch on Saturday with some of the participants in the Adulting 101. So I want to thank them for participating and taking their Saturday morning to spend it on a informational activity over at the community center. Also, the Veterans Day, I want to thank the American Legion, Yellow Post 77 for their outstanding service that they provided in front of the old courthouse, and want to acknowledge Council Member Landsberg and Mayor Stallard for also taking the time to be out there. And Mayor Stallard, thank you for your service as a veteran of the Navy. So I also just want to mention that the Yellow Post brought it to, one of the members brought it to my attention that November is the National Veterans and Military Families Appreciation Month. So maybe for next year, we can work on getting a proclamation out to all those who are our veterans and their families. So I just want to briefly read part of President Biden's proclamation, if you'll allow me to. During National Veterans Day and Military Families Month, we recognize and thank them for their indispensable contributions and immeasurable sacrifices in support of our national security. And as we approach a season of Thanksgiving, we send our gratitude to millions of service members, veterans, military families, caregivers, and survivors who have served and continue to serve our nation. And this is President Biden saying, I have said many times, and it comes from my heart, we as a nation have a sacred obligation to properly equip and prepare our troops when we send them into harm's way, and to support them and their families, both while they are deployed and when they return home. So on behalf of myself and YOLO Post 77, I want to thank them for the service that they provide to our veterans in our community. So thank you. That will be it for me today.
Thank you, Council Member Fernandez. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Myra Vega.
Thank you, Mayor Stollard. So today was great to see the rest of council colleagues and the community that came out for the grand opening of the new clinic in town. And it's just so important to be able to have that great access to our community. So I'm very happy to be able to attend and support safety net providers within Woodland as they care for our community. Additionally, I attended Congressman Garamendi's 2021 Women of the Year Award ceremony, where some amazing women from Woodland were recognized, among them Gina Bravo, who's the interim CEO at Woodland Memorial Hospital, our interim superintendent, Elodia Ortega Lampkin, and Tessa Smith, Carol Souza Cole, and Tess Boyd. So I'm very proud of these women, and they received this honor. So I was very happy to be able to attend and see them receive it. Additionally, I had the opportunity to meet with Cub Scout Pack 132, where the kiddos were very curious about what it means to be a councilwoman and how we serve the community. So that was a very phenomenal virtual event. We had to do it, but it's great to see kids interested in what we're doing and how to get there. So I inspired a group of young ones, hopefully, to get involved civically. That'll be all, Mayor Stollard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem Vega. I'll probably call you that for the last time tonight. And Council Member Rich Landsberg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, Mr. Mayor, last Monday night, there was an opportunity for community members to be heard, as well as to learn and receive an update regarding council district boundaries and the redistricting of the boundaries. It is very unfortunate that only one member of the public showed up to that meeting after staff and the entire commission prepared to present what they had to say in both audio and video form, and only one member of the public showed up. That's pretty sad. I would think that members of the public would have a little more interest on their elected officials, their local elected officials. Apparently that may not be the case, but we still have to do this redistricting every 10 years. But having said that, there are other opportunities to participate. The next workshop is scheduled for Saturday, November 20 at 10 a.m. at the Community Center at 2001 East Street. I hope that some members of the public show up for this very important redistricting. I also want to thank American Legion Post 77 for hosting a very well-attended and very well-presented special honor to all of our veterans in all branches of service. It was also great to hear the winning essay from a local high school student who had some very profound words to say about our veterans. It was also great to hear from our special guest who traveled from Illinois to present to our veterans here in Woodland. Also today, Mr. Mayor, as you know, we all attended the ribbon cutting at the Northern Valley Indian Health Center on East Gibson Road. And a few of us took advantage of the offer of getting a booster shot there. And it's a lovely facility. Interesting, I didn't know that that actually the majority of their patients are non-native. So everyone is welcome to obtain services there. They have a great new facility, and I certainly will continue to look at them for a service provider. And certainly our community can use another health center. Can never have enough. I wish to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting that event and welcoming the Indian Center there at East Gibson. Mr. Mayor, just before today's meeting, I had the pleasure of listening and watching the music department at Douglas Junior High perform under the direction of Mr. Luis Coelho. This was the first time these kids have been able to perform in almost 2 years with a live audience. They did a great job, and Mr. Coelho was able to deliver a great product for our students here at Douglas Junior High. Lastly, Mr. Mayor, it's a sad note in some ways and a good note on another. This is your last meeting as mayor. I want to express my thanks to you for your leadership this past year. Thanks to you, our ship remains steady and on course. But I also look forward to our colleague, Myra Vega, stepping up to the plate and keeping this ship on the steady course that we belong on. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome new Mayor, Myra Vega, later tonight. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Landsberg. Appreciate the tip of the hat. For myself, I would like to mention that city staff recently met with downtown business folks in a morning meeting at Father Patty's. The discussion included taking another look at the outdoor dining parklets, the flashing red signals, as well as the discussion of Christmas plans. The downtown tree lighting will now be held on Friday, December 10 in Heritage Plaza. Plans are underway for a small nighttime downtown parade to culminate at the plaza for the tree lighting. Al Eby, thankfully, has taken the leadership of this task. The downtown community appreciates the council's support for Small Business Saturdays. We will support by resolution shortly. I'm just going to read some more remarks, even though they're duplicative, sorry. The American Legion held a moving and beautiful Veterans Day ceremony at the old courthouse. It included a 45-minute performance by the YOLO Community Band, the reading of the first place speech by a student writer, and a presentation from a former member of the Elite Honor Guard at Arlington Cemetery. Members of the American Legion began and ended their day by installing flags up and down Main Street, as they've done so many times over the years. Ladies of the American Legion made a delicious lunch for all to enjoy at the Legion Hall after the ceremony. We should never take for granted all the good things that the American Legion makes possible in our community. Third item, the Yolo County Transportation District and the City of Woodland are moving forward with an entirely new concept in local transit. The goal is to offer point-to-point service within the community, which would then link to buses that would take people to other cities. A request for interest was recently circulated, and 9 potential contractors responded. Spencer Bowen of our staff is working with Kristen, the YCTD planner, to interview these folks and recommend 1 or more finalists for further consideration. We hope to have this advanced service in place next year, and it would, of course, work with the phone just as one summons an Uber or Lyft. Fourth item, there's very good news at Valley Clean Energy. One of the new charges levied against us by the California Public Utilities Commission, called the indifference charge, was anticipated to cost us so many millions of dollars that it threatened our financial stability. We have now learned that the actual amount due next year will be about 30% of what was anticipated. This allows us to maintain our competitive rate structure and to continue pursuing important goals, such as maximizing renewable sources of energy in our portfolio. Item 5, one of our best business successes has to be the Hive on Harder, which you heard about a few moments ago. This wonderful family business has relocated to a beautiful new facility on 2 acres that includes a honey tasting room and plenty of room for events. Their open house this past weekend was terrific, and I know they'll have more special events for the holidays. Plan on visiting this place for wonderful organic holiday gifts. Again, the Hive is located on Harder, just a bit east of East Street. I want to also join in adding congratulations to Sarah Day, our new teen librarian, and her colleagues, along with our Teen Advisory Commission, for the successful Adulting 101 program held this past Saturday. A wonderful variety of speakers addressed around 40 teens on subjects as diverse as art, pet care, and car maintenance. Councilmember Vicky Fernandez and myself were delighted to be speakers at this event. And then finally, today, the North Valley Indian Health people held a ribbon cutting at their beautiful facility. It was formerly the Burlington Coat Factory, and it's been wonderfully redone, along with a beautiful facade and a canopy at the front entrance. It was very nice, and we had a Native American deliver a prayer and accompany himself on a drum. It was really a lovely thing. And I think it's pretty cool that we could just sign up and go in and get a booster shot. It was really quick and easy, except for the forms. And now for my mayor's minute. This is the month of Thanksgiving, and we have so much to be thankful for. Our city is in great shape in this 150th year of our incorporation, and we were recently named the 55th best place to live in the country, one of only 2 cities in all of California to be on the list. We continue to make progress even with the challenges of COVID to deal with. We are reasonably secure financially, and thanks to foresight over the years, we have the water supply we need to weather the drought. I am grateful to city staff for their dedication and hard work that has made this possible. I am grateful to generous citizens who care about others and volunteer their time and provide financial support for the many nonprofits in our community. Finally, colleagues, I thank each of you for your dedication to our community and for your consistent willingness to put the needs of our city first. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members for great reports and your continued engagement throughout the community. Just a few remarks on my behalf to share this evening. First, for those that haven't already heard, the president did sign the historic $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. As we know, it's largely focused around broadband, water, roadway infrastructure projects, and will position the city of Woodland and our region, I think, well for taking advantage of this historical funding opportunity. We will be tracking that very closely with our federal lobbyists to ensure that we don't miss any opportunities to get access to that funding as more details are released. Also, as Councilmember Landsberg said, we did have the first of a series of workshops for the redistricting process. The second of that series of workshops will be this Saturday. So I do want to encourage folks to come out to the community center anytime between 10 and 11:30 a.m. And just drop by, learn about council districts, share your thoughts and perspectives on your community of interest or your neighborhoods and how that should inform as we move forward with redrawing the boundaries for the council districts. So we'll continue to push out, encourage folks to attend, and thanks to council members for helping us with that effort. Real quick look at the long range. We're heading into, if you can believe it, the last month of the year already. We will have some pretty important topics to tackle before the end of 2021. We have a sewer water rate ordinance, which we will introduce at the first meeting in December, followed by a second reading in January. And then we've been working pretty closely with members of our community for updates to a long needed revision to our tree ordinance. So we'll look forward to presenting some proposed revisions to the city's tree ordinance, which will position us to do a better job, be more diligent around protecting the urban forest here in Woodland, which is so critical to our identity as well as sustainability. And then lastly, we've heard a lot about SB 1383 over the course of last year and been working with our county and other city partners to figure out what that means for our community moving forward. So the food recovery ordinance will be introduced at the December meeting, first meeting in December, along with some recommendations on how that will impact our businesses and how we will support them moving forward with complying with that state requirement to ensure that as much food as we can is recovered from our tier 1 generators. So with that, I think that concludes my remarks this evening. Mr. Mayor, I'll give it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. That allows us to move on to the consent calendar, and that's items 3 through 15. And just in advance, I'll mention that after we finish the consent calendar, I've asked Tanya Garcia Cadena to present the Seroptimus proclamation. I would like to present the Small Business Saturday proclamation. And then we're going to invite Chief Zane to present brief comments on the quarterly report in the consent calendar, as well as Chief Caff to present on his quarterly report. So that's the strategy here. Does any member of the council wish to remove any item from the consent calendar or perhaps comment on any item on the consent calendar prior to our vote this evening? Mr. Landsberg?
Mr. Mayor.
There you go. Okay.
I can't let the night go without commenting on item number 10 on our consent calendar, which is the waste management rate adjustment. Well, I understand that contractually we need to adjust the rates just based on our contract. It still doesn't feel comfortable in light of the so many complaints that I get weekly regarding service from the company. And I don't want to say it's just waste management. They have a subcontractor that they are delivering services for waste management. And the bulk of the complaints I'm getting lately is about the subcontractor. So I'm going to go along with this, Mr. Mayor, only because I think we need to contractually. I don't want my city attorney to get on me about that, but the reality is we have a contract, but it doesn't feel good. This is not a feel-good item for me. And I hope that staff relays that. I see that Mr. Rodriguez is on the call. You need to take this back to your company, that we need to do better. Our citizens deserve good, continuous, uninterrupted service because we pay for it. And that's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Landsberg. Any additional comments from anyone else on the council about any item before we proceed to act? Madam Clerk, has anyone from the public asked to be heard on any item on the consent calendar?
No.
All right. Council, what is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor.
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Landsberg, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Myra Vega. There being no further discussion, let us proceed to have the roll called. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Vega,
Aye.
Councilmember Fernandez,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia Cadena,
Aye.
Councilmember Landsberg,
Aye.
Mayor Stallard.
Aye.
Thank
And
you.
now, thank you. And now, as promised, I'd like to invite our colleague, Tania Garcia Cadena, a long-term Seroptimus member herself, to present our proclamation of appreciation to the Seroptimus International of Woodland. Tania.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I actually had the privilege of being a Seroptimus member for over 20 years. So been with this club for quite a while.
Please introduce who's going to receive the proclamation.
Oh, of course. So we have Lauren Jones here. Lauren is our president this year. And Lauren is an attorney. And we are very happy to have her with our club. She's a fairly newer member, but she was ready to jump right in. And we always appreciate people who are ready to jump in. So the City of Woodland, Seroptimus International of Woodland Proclamation. Whereas the Seroptimus organization, founded on October 3rd, 1921, works to economically empower women and girls through access to education. And whereas